You are Locked On Wolverines POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Detroit, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
A road victory to open up Big Ten play. Welcome into a live Locked On Wolverines POSTCAST, your post-game show. I am your host, Jake Riepma. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake_Riepma. This is your post-game destination for a live reaction show on the Locked On Wolverines page. Make sure you like today's video, subscribe to the channel, as well as we react to a Michigan victory, 30-27 on the road in Lincoln, Nebraska. As always, want to hear your comments, so fire up that comment section. And hey, road victories are tough enough, and the Michigan Wolverines did a lot of things right on the road to secure a victory and move to 1-0 in the Big Ten. We'll talk about that. The ground game, very impressive, mixed in with some dynamic big plays that proved to be the key to victory. And oh, by the way, that defense played their tails off to the tune of 7 sacks. They made Dylan Raiola's life miserable throughout the course of that game. Got a little close there at the end, but at the end of the day, I would rather just find a way to win like the Wolverines did, and they put it on ice for the 30-27 victory. As always, I'll have my biggest talking point, our turning point, and then our player of the game as well. So come along on a live Locked On Wolverines post-game show as the Wolverines move to 1-0 in Big Ten play and 3-1 overall. And don't look now, but the remaining schedule, you start to feel pretty good about the direction of this Michigan Wolverines team overall. And oh, by the way, Biff Poggi gets his second win as acting head coach. The suspension for Sharon Moore ends at midnight, and here we go. We're back in business. But let's start with our biggest talking point. If you're to tell a friend about this game, what would you say? It's the biggest talking point.
This is what you'll be talking about.
I found myself thinking throughout the course of this game and watching, it was a hard-hitting Big Ten grinded out type of game, and that just suits the Michigan Wolverines. That is who they are at their core, where the big running plays, the big explosive plays, wonderful. Of course they were. They were awesome. They were crucial in the victory. And you look at the box score, and obviously there's more than just the box score, but 286 yards rushing as a team, 149 yards on the ground for Justice Haynes in the long 75-yard touchdown run. Don't forget about Jordan Marshall, 80 yards on just 6 carries. He had the 54-yard touchdown run, the longest of his career. And oh, by the way, Bryce Underwood got loose a couple of times as well, the 37-yard touchdown run. Overall, he had 61 yards on the ground in 8 carries. So the rushing attack, awesome. But again, on both sides of the ball, because you had the defensive line winning the line of scrimmage repeatedly throughout this one, and that's so crucial. So if I were to sum this game up with our biggest talking point, it's, hey, Michigan won the battle at the line of scrimmage, which was so crucial. And I'll have more on this, and of course, in our biggest turning point, but the 15-play drive when it was a 7-point game to march down the field methodically, eat all that time off the clock with the 7-point lead, and then converting on a number of third and longs on that drive as well. That is what you need to do to win on the road. And I thought this Michigan team showed a lot of maturity as well. And it was just a night and day difference between a road game against Oklahoma earlier this season to fast forward a couple of weeks now, a road game against a conference opponent, also a hostile environment, albeit not a night game. I know, I guess that makes a little bit of a difference, sure. But at the same time, wow, this Michigan team did what they needed to do to earn that road victory. Was it perfect? Absolutely not. Dumb penalties. I wrote this down as one. The 15-yard penalty was absolutely ridiculous. You just cannot have that with the taunting penalty to the sidelines. There's just no reason for that when you've got all the momentum and you've got a defensive back that's not even involved in the play going out and creating a taunting penalty to give Nebraska a free first down. That was, of course, Brandon Hillman. He also had the big hit. I thought it was the right call, not calling it targeting on Brandon Hillman there. But you get my point that there's still little things that this team is doing that is far from a perfect game. But hey, if I were, again, to chalk this game up as what Michigan did right and how they were able to secure a win on the road, obviously much more good than bad. The other glaring mistake, the end of the half. What a debacle that was. I mean, are you kidding me? A Hail Mary touchdown that takes it from a 7-point game to a tie game at the half. Mismanaged coaching malpractice to not call a timeout. And I mean, if you call a timeout there, Nebraska takes the knee half over, they punt it, whatever it is, but allowing the play to continue on and giving them one more shot for the Hail Mary was just absolutely ridiculous the way it played out. And when you, I guess as the kids say, of course I can't say the actual thing on a Locked On Wolverines postcast here, I'm going to get fired, but if you know what, and you find out, F around, you find out. And that's what Michigan did at the end of the half. But they're still able to overcome that, which, again, credit to this Michigan team that showed a lot of maturity on the road. We got a lot of people tuning in and a lot of people wanting to chime in, which is what makes the Locked On Wolverines postcast, the live show, so much fun. The Road Dog 101, very appropriate name for the big road win for the Michigan Wolverines, says, run the damn ball. And Jeremiah Doe says that was nerve-wracking. It did get a little bit nerve-wracking at the end, especially with that onside kick. That was executed very well by the Nebraska kicker, popped it straight up in the air. But I was texting with a buddy about this, as the onside team, not the kicker, but the opposition or the other players on that onside team, the first guy has to go and try to be, the wrecker, the rammer that creates absolutely just nothing but havoc. And then the second and third guy in is who's actually trying to recover the ball. But you had the first guy in for Nebraska try to tip the ball to himself, and a really great job by the hands team there for Michigan by Bell. That was the one that high pointed it and came down with it. So great job by Bell, and little things like that, so important in coming away with the victory on the victory on the road. Luke Sestito, I believe I'm saying that right. I apologize if it didn't. We'll go by Luke S. Hillman should get cut from the team, and Samaj needs to go play at the D2 level. I don't know quite about all that. Samaj Morgan had that really impressive broken tackle, or he broke the tackle on that third down to help the Michigan Wolverines get that first down, part of 4 third down conversions that they picked up in that final drive. Not the final drive, but not necessarily the game-clinching drive either, because obviously Nebraska comes back and scores, but that important pivotal 15-play drive that they had the 7-point lead, and then the chip shot field goal for Dominic Zvada to help put this one on ice. Jeremiah Doe adds in the pass game was non-existent, an area of improvement definitely needed for Michigan moving forward. And I think I will say this, that the running game is so good. In football 101, you have a great running game. It's going to open up your passing game. Everybody knows that. I'm not insulting anybody's intelligence, but that being the strength of Michigan and the game plan going into the Oklahoma game. And again, I go back to that Oklahoma game was just run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. And that can be the focal point of your offense, but you can't become one-dimensional. And I felt like Michigan, it's almost like their game plan was to be one-dimensional against Oklahoma. But here, again, it was very, very run-heavy, absolutely. But at the same time, I didn't feel like Michigan was as one-dimensional in this win against Nebraska, 30-27, the final. Right. And I agree. I do agree with this element here from Rick. That game was as close as the score indicated. No, Michigan didn't play their best, but we good. And I'd agree with that. Michigan can absolutely play better, but as many cliches as I can say in one show, it's hard to win on the road. It's hard to win conference games on the road in a hostile environment. And that Nebraska team I don't think they're going to go on and make the college football playoffs by any means, but it's certainly a formidable opponent at their place with a big crowd, hostile environment, and everything else. And Michigan got the W at the end of the day. All right. Appreciate everybody tuning in. I want to keep taking comments. We'll have our biggest turning point and our player of the game on the other side. Don't go anywhere. The Locked On Wolverines postcast and the postgame show continues in just a moment. Hey, today's episode of the Locked On Wolverines Postcast is brought to you by Mazda. You can just move through life, or you can find the things that move you. It's your choice. You can choose to get out there. You can choose your people. You can choose to go for it. Like really, really go for it. Just choose to do something that moves you. Mazda, crash cars for those who choose to do more than simply move. Mazda, move and be moved. Today's episode of the Locked On Wolverines Postcast is also brought to you by our good friends at DoorDash. The weekend's here. It's time to look back and crown this week's MVP and who delivered. And you know who I think delivered? That's right. How about Justice Haynes? 17 carries, 149 yards, a touchdown of 75 yards. That's what I'm talking about. That's delivering. And for your Locked On Wolverines postcast, he delivered in a big way, especially with that long run. He came through just like DoorDash does. No hesitation, no delay. And if you've been watching football all day today, it's time to order some DoorDash. And that's right. Get after it. Use that promo code and order that DoorDash. Win weekly with DoorDash streaks. Order every Saturday. You can save up to $250 during college football season. Terms do apply, but make it happen and order that DoorDash. All right, stack it all up all season. You can save $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period ends November 18th. There you go. All right, today's episode is also brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Here we go. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5 Hour Energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with zero sugar and zero crashes. What I love most is how portable they are. Big on taste, tiny little shot. You can take it anywhere and get that boost when you need it. I love the different flavors as well. I told you all summer long about the transfusion flavor. That's delicious. So good. And it gives you that boost to stay wide awake and alert. So enough with the boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5 Hour Energy shots. Get your favorites and love and be bold. Try something new in store online at www.5hourenergy.com or Amazon today. The Michigan Wolverines defeat the Nebraska Cornhuskers in Lincoln on the road, 1-0 in Big Ten play, 3-1 overall. Thanks so much for tuning in to the live Locked On Wolverines postcast. Dr. Fakin 2025 says it was a good win, showed us a lot of stuff to improve on. No more taunting, and we need to be better in coverage plans, especially for Hail Marys. I would say that's a pretty good wrap, and you can't say it much better than that. You can't give up a Hail Mary, but hey, you make that mistake, still find a way to win. And the Wolverines will certainly take it. I mentioned how good this team was on the ground, defensively, how good they were in wreaking havoc on, I always want to say Dominic Raiola. We all know that's who played for the Lions. His son, Dylan Raiola, and that Nebraska offense all afternoon long. So without further ado, let's get into our biggest turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
The Michigan Wolverines get the ball in the fourth quarter, up 27-20. And what did they do? This is where the game turned, and they put this one on ice. Really impressive work because they chew up all kinds of time with a 16-play, 77-yard drive that took up nearly 9 minutes. And instead of Nebraska having the football, and when it was 27-20, going back and forth, exchanging punts and so on and so forth, Michigan puts this one on ice with that 16-play, 77-yard drive that culminated with a Dominic Zvada field goal, but you only needed 3 to make it a 2-score game. Now, credit to Nebraska, that 10-play, 75-yard drive, they marched down the field to make it a 1-score game, but after Michigan got the onside kick, get a first down, and put this one on ice, call it an afternoon in Lincoln, Nebraska. So the Wolverines get the win. That 15-play drive, so important. They converted a couple of big third downs in that one. They weren't great on third downs all the way through this game. In fact, if you look at the box score and the team stats, on third down, Michigan was just 4 of 12, but they got all those third downs on that final drive, which is absolutely crucial. And again, the defensive stats that stand out to you: 7 sacks, so good by the Michigan Wolverines defense. And it was a number of guys contributing to all of those sacks, which is a testament to the depth that this team has on the defensive line and so on and so forth. A couple of guys with more than one, Rashad Benny and Derek Moore, both credited with a sack and a half. And got to give some love to Cole Sullivan as well. He had the one interception and a couple of really big plays, some nice big hits. He's playing well on defense. So the Wolverines need more in the pass game, sure. But again, you'll take the win on the road to move to 1-0 in Big Ten play. And how about the schedule, the way it's setting up? Off next Saturday, and then you got Wisconsin, who we can say, I think they're the worst team in the Big Ten. Wisconsin's terrible. Then on the road against USC on October 11th. That's going to be a tough game. Home against Washington. Michigan State will play on the 25th, and then Purdue and Northwestern. So notice I didn't say Oregon. I didn't say, and then you got Maryland and, of course, Ohio State. I didn't say Oregon. I didn't say Penn State. I didn't say Illinois. So the schedule favorable for the Wolverines. You feel good about where this team can head to moving forward. And a couple of comments coming in. Oklahoma will jump into the top 10. Just FYI, that loss will age well. Yeah, I agree. I'm not, I hope I didn't insinuate that loss sinks your season, because it doesn't at all. The Oklahoma Sooners just beat Auburn. They're 4-0. John Mateer is a favorite to win the Heisman. So yes, I totally understand where that you're using that terminology where the loss will age well. And I don't disagree by any means, but I was just using that as a contrast to look at the difference in game planning, the way Michigan approached it this time around in a tough road game versus the last tough road game against Oklahoma, which again, yeah, I didn't mean to discredit Oklahoma by any means. So that being said, I think you feel really good about the direction of this Michigan team. Can take some time to collect yourselves on the bye week before getting back into Big Ten play, which, as I just mentioned and outlined, a lot of winnable games, winnable games in front of you if you're the Wolverines. Sharon Moore is back. And hey, I know on the CBS telecast, which, by the way, who's still getting used to Big Ten football on CBS? I know I sure am. But Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson talking about it, that, Michigan, they used the term rebuilding this year. I don't think Michigan's necessarily rebuilding. I guess I could see why you're putting it in those terms, why they put it in those terms based on what happened last year. But there's plenty of reasons not to be rebuilding if you're the Michigan Wolverines. So I'm not quite there on that terminology. And I know it's just semantics at this point, but everything in front of this Michigan Wolverines team, you feel good, especially after a victory over Nebraska on the road to move to 1-0 in Big Ten play and 3-1 overall. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in to the Locked On Wolverines post-game show. Isaiah Hull will be back with you on Locked On Wolverines for the daily show. So make sure you like today's video, subscribe, and we'll keep it rolling all season long. You got me on the post-game shows. And if you're a fan of any other Detroit sports, we got post-game shows on the Locked On Tigers network, post-game shows on Locked On Lions with our whole squad. So Monday Night Football, Locked On Lions post-game show. And it sucks bringing up the Tigers, but hey, they lose again today. We've got Locked On Tigers post-game shows as well. So thanks so much for tuning in. Appreciate everybody having their voices heard on the Locked On Wolverines post-game show. We'll see you next time. Michigan beats Nebraska 30-27 and are now 3-1 on the season and 1-0 in Big Ten play. Have a wonderful rest of your night. We'll talk to you next time on the Locked On Wolverines post-game show.